track is so physically all the time. You have so many corners, you have nothing to rest. It begins with an up and down. You come to the Eau Rouge, and afterwards you don't have to rest at all. You always have to push. You always have to be on your maximum attack.
It's quite tough for the driver. It's tough for the team. But yeah, as we are race drivers, we always like the challenge, and we all like to come back to join this really nice race.
This track has been built like this since 50, 60 years ago. So every driver loves the history of the place, and also the challenge from driving around here is huge.
It was always a dream to come here as a race driver, and so I did. And the dream became true last season when we won the race.
You know, it's special here because you have a really fantastic track. It's a nature track, and for the fans it's spectacular, so it's quite good.
So I experienced this race since I was a little child, hanging around the paddock. And to be here as a driver and experience it with a Belgium team as well, in a very professional atmosphere, but also in a friendly atmosphere, it's really nice.
Nearly all the cars are in the same category. So it's GT3 cars, which is mainly the whole field, and that makes the competition so hard that you will race hard for position 1 or for position 30.
I like very much the 24 hours of Spa because it's one of my favorite tracks. I really like to come here again. It doesn't depend which car I drive.
A little bit like going up through Mount Everest, you have to be friend with the mountain, I used to say. And it's a little bit the same. In Nordschleife you have to be friend with Nordschleife, and here as well you have to respect.
For me, it's very special. I celebrated one of my biggest victories, success here in Spa last year at the 24 Hours of Spa.
Yeah, we'll have some family, some friends, some partners who will come, which of course we are not there if we are racing in Slovakia. So of course there will be people here I know, and will hopefully support me. Well, it's always nice to have people behind you.
I think I have the feeling that Le Mans is the biggest 24-hour races in the world. The most beautiful one is Spa.
I will be careful.
This is a former military base. Things are already getting serious here, 1 week before the race starts. The so-called rollout is a sort of last run-in before the cars head to the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. This year, the man in charge is François Verbiste. His task is to make sure everything is in perfect working order. Brakes, shock absorbers, gearbox, every component is checked one last time in the blistering heat. It's now Friday afternoon, and it's prep time at the WRT workshop in Bordeaux, in the south of Belgium. It's also time for the 4 cars to get their final ornaments before hopping on board. Monday at sunrise, the whole team is heading to Spa. The mechanics are ready for 24 hours of competition and 1 full-on week of hard work. The team needs no less than 8 hours to install their trailers carefully and precisely.
Stop! 390 pas mal. 390 pas mal.
They have to unload several tons of equipment and build up the pit stop.
Full time during the year we are about between 20 and 25 people. But the year for the race we are about 60. But yeah, it takes really about more than 2 to 3 weeks to organize this event.
These 4 Audi R8 LMS Ultra are ready to depart. It's a mighty challenge for the Belgian team. So far, WRT has had only 3 cars running since the beginning of the Blancpain Endurance Series season. So prepping and managing 4 vehicles is a big step up. The scrutineerings are an essential part of the week. The commissioners control every technical and administrative item against the rulebook before giving each car the green light. This year, the regulations have sparked quite a controversy. To give every competitor a fair chance, the organizers decided to assign a different performance balance to each car model in the championship. This means that the game is much harder this year for the Audis that had won the last 2 editions here in Spa.
La balance de performance est basée sur 3 volets. 3 volets, disons le poids. Deuxième volet, puissance. Et troisième volet, l'aérodynamique, donc appui de la voiture. Donc en homologation, on a 12 modèles différents. Donc allant de l'Audi R8 à une Jaguar. Et bon, ça doit se bagarrer entre eux et on doit faire en sorte que la bagarre soit la plus honnête possible.
BOP hasn't changed. It's been now 3 races already in the Blancpain series. We are far. We have what I can call the best drivers. I mean, it's not many drivers like this around the paddock. We will fight very hard and we will fight till the end, but at the moment we don't really have the same tools.
Audi, disons que c'est une voiture, bon, un certain appui et a été limitée dans sa vitesse de pointe. Donc on voit qu'ici il y a quand même deux secteurs où la vitesse de pointe est assez importante.
We cannot do much about it. I mean, we've been talking and it's been a lot of blah blah blah, and now we have to face the fact, and we have to take this in consideration to make our choice for next year.
So this year, the Audi's power is limited by an air intake restrictor, and the race will be tough, with many strong competitors to face. In any case, the 08 LMS Ultra comply with the rules. A huge crowd has gathered under the blistering sunshine to admire the 65 cars taking part in the competition on the Casino Square in Spa. The drivers are happy to sign a whole bunch of autographs. Meeting their fans is one of the fun parts of the week for the drivers. One last moment to relax before the race gets started. On their way from Spa to the circuit, the drivers offer their audience a real show over 5 kilometers. The 4 official WRT cars are ready for a group photo with 3 more Audis, 2 from the Phoenix team and 1 from United. Overall, there are 7 Audi R8 LMS Ultra that will be defending the Ingolstadt brand in this 2013 edition of the 24 Hours of Spa. Thursday morning, the V10 engines are finally seeing some action. All day long, the Audi team is busy with free practice and qualifying sessions.
Radio check crew, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is car channel. Radio check Matthias, radio check 1, 2.
Auto Nummer 2, Radio Check. Könnt ihr mich hören? Laut und deutlich.
Copy. Now the communication was a lot better. We have 2 minutes to green light. 2 minutes. Now.
Hey, I'm coming down to the pit exit now.
Sector 1 improved.
Copy. Slow car in sector 2. Slow car offline sector 2.
A lot of traffic.
The car was terrible to drive. I had from the first lap on turning oversteer like crazy. And a lot of understeer as well.
Good job, Becky, good job.
The drivers are pushing their cars up to the highest possible level. In the straight lines, they lack a bit of power, but glean back some precious seconds in the circuit's sinuous curves.
I'm in the middle of shit, I cannot believe it.
By pushing their Audis up to the limit, the 12 drivers help to refine the car setup little by little. The lap times are getting better, but the level has dropped compared to last year.
We just missed the top 20, but we are all in the top 40. So there's still a way to go, but you can feel it. Everybody wants to do well in the race and is motivated. And yeah, so far I think it's going to be good.
Last chance to try out the car. The heat is becoming more bearable, but in the circumstances, the team cannot do miracles.
Maybe we do a fifth time lap to arrive here in the pits with only 2-3 liters of fuel to see when you get the fuel test.
Guys, I try my best for the top 20, but I'll try again afterwards. Copy. Please flash when you arrive to the box.
WRT is determined to see at least one of its cars rising to the top 20. The team sprinter Laurent Van Hoor is sent to the front line with car number 1. Brand new tires and just enough fuel to be lighter and faster.
The lap you did was very, very good. One of the fastest cars on track.
Van Hoor delivers his best performance late at night. After the combined classifying sessions, the Audi number 1 is in 16th position.
B16, Laurent. Well done, well done.
I said it's the first time I'm not so happy about P16 in my life, but yeah, it's, you know, we are not having an easy time. We are having to work hard for this, and it's nice for the whole team and for the mechanics to have at least one car in the top 20, do the Super Bowl tomorrow, and have an Audi in the top 20, which will hopefully motivate them to do a good strategy, a good pit stops, and because we need that. We don't have the pure speed. We have to work on that to do a good result in the race.
Friday is always a special day during the whole week leading up to the 24 hours of Spa. The drivers are meeting their fans and journalists. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is frantically going from one briefing to the next. This includes one of the most important meetings of all, the strategy briefing.
Decided to have this meeting a bit more technically, in particular in the question of safety car.
The first safety car will join the track at turn 1, which is Lasso Serpine. And the second safety car will join the track at the same time at the Pif Paf at the bottom, which is turn 13.
If you stop there, keep a distance to the car in front of you, that if he stalls, you can overtake. Because if you can't move forward, then maybe they close in front of you. So this is very important, that you have always the distance, that if the car in front does not start, that you can overtake and you can use the green light. If not, you're the idiot.
On the Friday, the cars are taken apart, piece by piece. given a new clutch and new gearboxes. The final setup for the race is sealed, and the cars are getting a final pampering session to be absolutely perfect on the departure line the following day. There is not 1 minute to lose, in particular for the car number 1 that has to be ready at the end of the day for the Super Pool.
It has to be efficient, so it has to be as light as possible. We have to do 2 time laps plus in and out, which means 4 laps, and we have to count based on this and the car fuel consumption. We have to count the exact fuel amount we need, and we also have to work on the tires pressure because we have a target on the tires pressure to be efficient, and as it's a very, very short session, we need to reach a target very quickly, so there is always an offset that we have to add to the base pressure we have.
You will do 4 laps, 4 laps. Got an ID position
1. Lawrence has enormous pressure on his shoulders. He's the only Audi driver in this very tricky Super Pool exercise.
Test sector 1, your last run was 40.3. 40.3.
It's a real disappointment for the WRT group. And this accident also means more work for the mechanics, just a few hours before the race actually starts.
Beaucoup de boulot. C'est difficile à dire maintenant, il faut voir ce qui se passe en dessous. En carrosserie, il y a déjà énormément, mais on a ce qu'il faut. On fera notre meilleur, comme d'habitude.
Sarah is one of the WRT's guests. She has won a Red Bull contest and will experience the race from within, with the team behind the scenes. She will act as an assistant for Swedish driver Mattias Ekström throughout the competition. But for now, Sarah and Mattias are going for a few laps on an OS5. And as usual, the DTM champion is going at full speed.
Tack som fan.
Varsågod.
And that's why I push it. Go, go, go. No! When it was cars ahead of us, like, no! Move out of the way!
The race is now getting started. The Audis are starting the competition at the bottom of the classification, so it's going to be a tough battle. Everybody knows it, and even though the team remains as calm and composed as possible, the tension is palpable. It's a hot, very hot day, and the drivers behind the steering wheel, Rast, Mies, Halliday and Ekström, are already 100% focused on their goal.
Yeah, especially when it's hot like this, you have to make sure you drink a lot and be ready. But for the moment, I feel I've done the homework, so the race can start.
You know, you've got to always use your experience at the start. When you're in the middle of the pack is not great, and you know, especially in a 24-hour race. You know, any damage to the car, you've got to carry through the rest of the race. So it's you know, but you also can't sleep because you know there's people all around you. So you need to push a little bit and be careful, which is easier said than done.
C'était là au Mans et sur la Spa, des vrais fans. C'est plus près de Mons, hein.
Radio check, 1, 2, 3.
Radio check, loud and clear.
From the very first meters, René Rast is taking the reins at the middle of the pack, lifting his R8 from the 20th position up to the top 10.
You were 1/10 faster, you were 1/10 faster.
The team is watching this promising start very closely behind the scenes. Meanwhile, on the track, WRT 3 other drivers are forming a squadron at the back.
The traffic so far, unbelievable.
Matt, Matthias and Christopher take over each other again and again. It's a real spectacle for the onlookers of this impressive ballet.
Turn 13, maybe oil. Make sure that you're not braking too late. Your brake point before was good, you just need to release them slightly earlier. Don't brake too late.
Mechanic, next stop, we do driver, tires, fuel.
I have struggling with main understeer and he has a lot of problems.
Driver swap in the Audi team. Stefan Ortelli is out and leaves his seat to Lawrence Van Hoor. Things are going smoothly for car number 1. It's getting ever closer to the top 5.
Gearbox temperature too high. I think I'm also smelling gearbox oil. Mechanics, we put fuel and then we check the gearbox radiator.
The gearbox is broken, so the team has to make a snap decision. Car number 1 is out. It's a bitter pill to swallow for the mechanics who spent a good part of the previous night repairing the car after the Super Pole accident.
I just can't believe we are running with this so much bad luck now. So last year we finished second, and this year's not gonna happen.
But the other 3 cars are doing quite well in the 8th, 9th and 15th position respectively.
The flag turn 5, slow car in sector 3 as well.
The drivers are fighting on the track and the mechanics are giving their best during the pit stops. The strategy seems to be working wonders during the afternoon.
Yellow sector 3, yellow sector 3. Everything is ready for the pit stop, 4 tire refueling, driver change.
As the sun sets and temperatures drop, the Audis appear to breathe better too. The night seems promising for the 3 surviving cars. After 5 hours 30 in the race, the WRT cars are where we expected them. Meyer, Mennerhof, Frey and Halliday are number 19, while Mies, Stippler and Lotterer reach the 10th position. Meanwhile, Sandstrom, Fessler and Ekström are number 8. And after 2 testing double stints, Ekström leaves his spot to Marcel Fessler, twice winner of the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Now the track grip is starting to come. You have to be pretty good on braking really hard and position the car off the brake and then just boom. It's warm in the car. I'm always pushing, but this is a new dimension for me.
Edward told us that you report a small problem on the car.
I had 2 punctures, so I got a little scared because when you get the punctures in Blanchimont, it's the last place in the world you want to have a puncture. So I'm pretty happy now that I can have a rest.
There is no time to rest. Niki Meyer-Mennerhof goes back to the garage with a damaged front side after a small shock.
Change your front brakes as well, guys. Change the front brakes. Someone acknowledge me. Change the front brakes, Jordi.
Then I let him pass, I leave him room, and then he just attacks the inside and kicks me on the left front. And he forced me into a spin, and then that's what it is right now. Nothing that we can do. It's really a shame because the pace was good, I think, and but that's how it is. We fight back. I hope that the guys do a good job and are able to repair it. So but afterwards we go out again and push.
12 minutes of hard work to bring the car back in shape under the extreme heat. The car is ready to get back into the game, but it's lost time and fallen down to the bottom of the classification. The team has not lost its cool. Number 0 is repaired, but number 13 is now also in need of a quick fix.
There was a slow Ferrari in front of me. I tried to overtake him on the brakes, but then he pulled to the left and just crashed into me. Then I went off.
It's a dire diagnosis. With a heavy heart, the team managers decide to give up on this second car.
I'm super sad. I think we did quite a good job out there. I came around Blanchimont. It was a slow Ferrari in front of me, which was quite slow through Blanchimont. I catch him up, and then I decided to brake him from the outside because he was in the middle. And at the moment I was braking, he came just over and pushed me off the track.
Yeah, I mean, until now, for sure, it did not work as we expected. We have been struggling a lot with going the pace of the other cars. And unfortunately, 2 of the cars already had to be retired. And we don't even have 7 hours of the race. So what we see now is that there is a strong thunderstorm coming. And we will have to be careful that this is not another thing that works against our favor.
Information from our weather people to all cars. There is strong storm coming from the south. Inform the driver.
But thankfully, this once the Francorchamps circuit will dodge the storm, with just a few raindrops refreshing the track, the drivers and the teams. WRT is playing it safe for car number 0, which gets tread tires for optimal grip on the track, like most of its competitors. But the team decides on another strategy for number 2. The car keeps its smooth tires for higher speed. It's a real gamble. But the risk pays off. In the end, there has been no heavy rains, so most of the competitors lost time changing back to their original tires.
Now we gained quite a lot of time back because it started to rain just a little bit, but everybody got a bit nervous and put rain tires on. We stayed on slicks and we maybe caught a lap back. So this was a really good operation, and hopefully we can have a few more of these. And yeah, we're 5th now, I think. So hopefully we can maybe finish on the podium.
The WRT team is taking a short break, with 2 cars remaining in the race, doing lap after lap like clockwork.
Three, two, one, go.
No, backwards in the wall, no route. The left rear tyre blue going in. I mean, obviously it's fast here, so.
Okay, just confirm you can't recover the car.
No, I don't think I can recover the car.
The problem is due to a low puncture, which happened more or less 1 minute before the crash. And I think the driver didn't realize that the risk was high to take the radio with low pressure. The car was unstable and he could not manage to this corner, which is quite critical when you go with low pressure.
There's just one official Audi left in the race, and things are going smoothly. Frank Stippler, Christopher Mies and André Lotterer are doing one perfect stint after the other. In the early morning hours, they have reached a hoping 5th position, and the 4th place even seems well within reach. Ahead of them, the Mercedes of Schneider, Buch and Gotz seems in a league apart, waging a fierce battle against Lieb, Pilet and Leeds on Porsche. But just behind the two leaders, the last standing Audi could well challenge Ferrari and BMW. The strategy is clear: put a lot of pressure on the opponents.
Well, we have no choice than to push the limit of the car, because for sure we are missing a bit of performance, so we have to push, and yeah, asking the driver to do all they can without doing any mistakes.
Making mistakes is not a habit in this team. Even with problems of ventilation and water supply, the 3 remaining drivers are still standing.
Front is much better now, much better, and I have a slight oversteer now, but I can handle. One pit in.
The situation is we have no drinking and no fresh air coming into the car, so it's quite hot. We were on P3, we had to change the brake pads. Now we are P5, but I think after the pit stops we will be again P3. But it's very, very close with the BMW and the Ferrari. It's still 5 hours to go, but it's tough racing here, and it's really, really hard in the car.
Blue Ferrari, 4 seconds in front.
Car number 2 is under pressure. Colombo, Franchi and Kekule on BMW are on their heels, with Regan, Ramos and Zampieri on Ferrari in front. The Audi breakthrough comes from 2 lucky strikes. About an hour before the end, the BMW breaks its engine, and so does Ferrari just 1 minute later.
And the 44 Ferrari is dirty, so at the moment we are P3 safe.
Like you said before, Ferrari.
What they say?
Ferrari.
What they say?
It's still 1 hour,
The team manages the last 2 pit stops perfectly, with only 2 mechanics allowed to work on the car.
In the car it's very hot and we are losing 3 to 4 liters or kilos in water, and we can't fill it up into our body, so we try to drink during the breaks, and it was my job to bring Andre a little bit of water.
Mercedes wins the 24 Hours of Spa 2013 after an unbelievable battle against Porsche. And the last surviving of the 4 Audis is headed to a well-deserved bronze medal.
In the rear is standing still, so the gap is quite high. Yeah, you don't get P2, but the next car below us is 2 laps behind. So it should be easy, so gentle to the car, no curbs at all. So no risk, don't take any curbs. Be gentle to the gear shift. Final lap, Andre, final lap. Andre, danke, P3, super, super.
They made it. The WRT team steps on the 3rd step of the podium after a splendid race that will remain one of the most striking memories of the team's history. It may be just a 3rd place, but after so many hardships, it certainly feels like a victory.
I think it was just the only way to go, to fight to the very end, and that's what they have done. It's really a team effort, and we can be proud that such a good, strong team is running our cars.
It's a well-deserved result. As you could feel in all the team, we had a lot of pressure, and I think we were not supposed to be there, and we really fight. And yeah, it's a great achievement for all the guys, and they really deserve, the drivers, all the team.
Mies, Stiepler and Lotterer are climbing on the podium, but the whole team would deserve to be with them on the 3rd step.
It was really nice to see this wonderful team spirit. At first nobody ran away after the 3 retirement, and we took all the not the best people, because all the people are really good, but I mean the most efficiency to try to put everything on one car, and in the end I have things, I have a kind of ghost on my back.
Je peux embrasser mon partenaire?
To finish on the podium was like a victory, because we kind of saved the honor for the team and the brand for Audi to be on the podium. So yeah, it's been a tough race, but I think we can be really proud about it.
Considering the quality of our cars, considering the team that we have, considering the fantastic driver lineup that we have, we strongly believe and we are quite sure that we will bring those cars back to where they should be, and that's to the front of the race. Maybe we will not win the race, but I think a podium finish is quite reachable. Let's work together. Let's bring those cars, as I said, where they belong, and that's at the front of the race. Thank you very much, and a good race to everyone.